Doreen Grand-Pichet is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen.
One of the most devastating questions we've ever gotten here at Autism Live and Ask Dr. Doreen, and I'm emotional even thinking about it. So I need everybody to fasten your seatbelts because we've got the expert here to talk with us about this. But this is, one of the toughest things. Somebody wrote in anonymously. Sometimes when I punish my child, he fails to understand that he is being punished unless I do serious damage. This makes me nuts and I start feeling suicidal. What should I do? There's a lot there to unpack. I'm so grateful that we have Dr. Grand-Pichet here. I'm giving us all a hug.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we have the ability to talk about this. So where do you want to start?
Well, first of all, if you are listening to this show, or if you should see this show, no matter when it is, please contact me, contact Shannon, contact a professional, someone who can help you and someone who can intervene, because we don't want harm to your child and we don't want harm to you. And I know sometimes it feels just hopeless. But it is not hopeless. It's so simple. You only need a little bit of help. And I will say that, every parent has at some point in their parenting felt overwhelmed and I'm going to lose it. I can't handle this. This is just too much for me. But you need to have help, because punishment just does not work. It just will not work. What it does is it will teach your child fear. And when your child learns fear, they will go through life with a million other problems and issues. It is frustrating sometimes when our kids don't understand what we're trying to get across. It absolutely is. But this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, Shannon, is that ABA has a way to break things down and help the child comprehend. More than anything else, sometimes I think, Shannon, that one of the beautiful aspects of ABA is the support that it provides to the family, right? Because when you're doing a comprehensive ABA program, you have a bunch of people coming in and helping you with your child and explaining things, explaining how to communicate, explaining how to interact, explaining how to break things.
I don't know whether we've lost her or me, but she's frozen in one of the most critical moments where we wanted to talk to her. We're going to get her back one way or the other, but I'm just giving us all a hug. And I know I see all of you writing in and talking about things that you do that help you when you're overwhelmed, which I love. Please write in, because I think we've got her back now. Sorry about that, Dr. Grand-Pichet. I was just acknowledging they're all writing in about things that they do that help them when they're overwhelmed, and I'm asking them please to continue to do that, because I think that's helpful to us as well. But continue with what you were talking about.
Yeah, and I think I see a lot of the comments coming in are saying the same thing, which is, in that moment of frustration, you need to step back. You need someone there who can just take the child and deal with whatever is going on. And you're a human being. Let me just start by reminding you that you are a human being as well. And so you have the right to step back and have a moment of peace and a moment of just taking care of yourself, as does your child. Your child has the right to have someone working with them who's not frustrated. And believe me, as a parent, I know we all get extremely frustrated, but please, 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 the best thing you can do is just get anyone. It doesn't have to be a trained professional. just anyone else to come and be there so that you have respite. So you have the moments where you're frustrated, you can just stop and say, I'm not dealing with this. I'm walking away until I'm calm. And that's, you just, there's so many things that you can do to calm down.
Absolutely. There is a chapter in my book that's called When You Feel You Can't Go On. And the reason why there's a chapter there is because there needs to be a chapter there. And there's a quote right now that my publisher has put on everything from the book, from that chapter, that says, I don't think I know a single parent that hasn't, at least for one moment, felt like they couldn't go on. And that doesn't make you a bad parent. That makes you human. That's what the quote is. It doesn't tell you what the next sentence is, which is my favorite sentence in the whole book, that I say to people, but I'm going to ask you to do something really hard. And I know you think I'm going to ask you to suck it up and just do it. That's not what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to do something even harder. Ask for help. And it's hard. And sometimes the first person you ask for help isn't able to give it, and it feels like, see, that didn't work. But you got to ask for help, and you got to keep asking for help until somebody gives it to you. And I think what we learned earlier this year, because there was that very horrible case a couple of months ago of the mom who had 3 kids and reached critical mass, and she took 2 of her kids who were not on the spectrum and dropped them off with a friend, and then took the 3rd child, who was 10 years old, on the spectrum, and left him on the side of the road in the rain with cars going by. And, the thing that was crushing to me was that there was a thought process where she thought to herself, who can I trust 2 of my kids with? And she did not feel like she had anybody that, I'm guessing that she didn't feel like she had anybody that she thought could handle her 3rd kid. I'm saying to everybody within the sound of my voice, find somebody. Find somebody that you trust and drop your kids off with them while you go get yourself right, if that's what you need to do. Or, as Dr. Grampiche said, have someone that you trust come into your home so you can take a break. But I think that we have to acknowledge that these kinds of things happen, and it's very common. Can I very quickly say that I certainly felt that way? Otherwise, I wouldn't have included it in my book. That there was a day and a time where my son, and he was little, so I can't even imagine for those of you who have big kids, but he was hitting me in the head, closed fist, punching me in the head. That's how he was communicating with me. And I knew that I was in a very scary, scary place. And I literally came into my ABA provider, which was CARD, and said to them, I need help today, or something bad is going to happen. And to this day, I don't know what it was that, like, it was so big and so horrible, I couldn't even name it. I don't know whether I was going to hurt myself or potentially hit him back. But I knew that I wasn't going to be able to maintain it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I had to be that blunt and say, something terrible is going to happen. I'm not leaving until you help me. And they helped me. And it was hard. And it was, I think, the bravest thing I've ever done, honestly, because I was the most afraid. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if you guys were going to take him away from me. Like, I didn't know. And all of those fears were wrapped up into that ball. But I did get help. And that is not a part of my everyday. And every time I see a parent getting punched in the head, and I see it all too often, my heart breaks, because I remember how I was feeling. And I felt like it was my fault. I felt that I deserved it. I felt that I needed to keep it secret, or people would think that my son was a monster. And I felt that if I said something, that people were going to take my child away and that he would be injured or locked up. Yeah. It's a bad place to be in.
It's just, and on top of that, I think another feeling that a lot of parents tell me is that they feel judged. They feel like people are looking at them and saying, it's your fault that your child is aggressive. You taught him this. And what people don't understand is that the child is frustrated and communicating that way, and it's just such a terrible cycle to be in, which is why I was just saying to this person who wrote in, please just get there's a number of different things. One is obviously you need the help of someone who can step into that moment. So you need someone available that you can drop your child off with, or that's just for now. And then going forward, what you need is a schedule that allows you to have, an hour a day for yourself, perhaps, and maybe see a therapist, maybe see a psychiatrist, get some medication that will help you be calmer with the situation. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We all have moments of life when the stress is so overwhelming that we need some help. And please do those things. And then once you cannot fix things for your child if you're not okay. So we need to get you to a point where you can handle, because you're steering this ship. So we need to get you to a point where you are feeling good enough to steer the ship.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Also, like, big hug to you, because
Yeah.
it's just so difficult. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I love, I love Amanda says, if you're in Houston, I'm always here to help. I love that, Amanda. That's just, you have such a big heart. And so many programs out there that people don't know about that can help. There are. And sometimes it's just a matter of hooking up with your local resources. And we're always open here. You can write to me. And what I do sometimes, when somebody writes specifically to me, I'll tell you exactly what I do is I go online, I look at where they live, and I try to find what are the resources for. I don't remember, Traven. Traven says, wasn't that the topic of the week last week? I don't remember what the topic of the week last week was. That's terrible. That's how old I am. But what I do is I will go and beat the bushes for you in your local community to see who is the person who can hook you up with stuff. And then I come back to you with some phone numbers and say, here's what I found out. So that I do that initial legwork, because I think that initial legwork is so frustrating, because you find a lot of dead ends, and I'm just a little used to it. And I put pressure on people, and because I know I'm not overwhelmed at the moment, and I'm always overtired, but that's another Oprah. You know what I mean? But because I know, and I've done it before, sometimes I can get to what phone number is the person that you need to call faster. So please take advantage of that. Put me to work as much as I possibly can. You know what my dream is, Dr. Grant-Pichet, that at some point that we have a person, a mom or a dad in every single state, like Amanda, who's always willing to help, that knows the lay of the land in their community, and that they're our first phone call, and we go, hey, they're in this part of your state. What are the resources? And that we have this network. And I know that Autism Society of America is a little bit like that they have offices all over the places, but sometimes the office isn't where we need to have it. But sometimes they're a good resource.
Well, I was actually going to suggest Taka, because at some point Taka had a lot of parents all over the country. I'm not sure if they've kept that up, but Taka moms were a fantastic resource.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We should say tacanow.org and search to see if there is a Taka group in your area, tacanow.org. And Amanda, as soon as I said that knows the lay of the land, I knew that you just moved, but I know it's going to be 5 minutes from now, and you will have the lay of the land where you are now. And those who have been through it can skip the unnecessary steps to get to the right help. We're also here to help. We're in SoCal Riverside County. Fabulous. That's good to know. I want to get back to some more questions, though. But please, if you are the person if you are feeling what that person wrote, or you are the person that wrote that, I want to make sure that everybody has my email, which is shannon@autism-live.com. And I am happy to be put to work. That's a great break in my day to go search up resources for somebody else. That's like a vacation for me. Shannon@autism-live.com. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook.
You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here. Don't forget, you can watch Ask Dr. Doreen live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time on autismnetwork.com. We hope to see you there.